just want to introduce you. Julia Carias today is going to be my guest. I appreciate so much, Julia, that you accepted the invitation. I admire everything that you are doing, or homes. Like, something that I like about Julia is that she said that our home is where the heart is, and she talks about chic and these accessories, those little things that make your spacious in your home, that make you joyful. So that's what we are going to talk about today. I hope you enjoy this conversation. So, Julia, please let us know about you more, because I know you are a TV producer, you have a lot of hats, you're a great woman, businesswoman. So tell us, please, how you do all this.
Oh, thank you. First, I just want to say, Gabriela, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here, to be in conversations and speaking to another amazing woman like yourself. I think that this is so beautiful. Together, we lift each other, and I'm just very happy to be here and share with your audience a little bit of my knowledge and a little bit of my story. So yes, so I am by training. I am a producer, television executive, former television executive. I am a businesswoman. I'm an actress. I am a stager. I'm an interior designer, and it's been a long run, a long road. Um, but it's something that I love doing. I think that our homes are our sanctuary, and it should be treated like one. And so I am, like you mentioned, I am a producer, and I started off my career as a producer. And I segue into interior design and staging because I saw an opportunity. I was working for a big television network, and they had a partnership with a company, a furniture company, and they had canceled that particular show. I was working on many shows, but that one particular show was canceled, and they brought a lot of the furniture and the accessories to the headquarters, and they sold it to the employees for a very like fraction of the actual price of the cost of these items. And I always love design. I always love beautiful places, beautiful rooms, beautiful homes, and I gravitated towards that. So I bought a bunch of stuff. I ended up redoing my living room, my dining room, part of my bedroom, and I mentioned to a family member who owns a contracting company, an electrical company, and his wife is an agent, a real estate agent, that I wanted to have a staging and design business, but I didn't realize it was going to happen so quickly. 2 weeks from when I mentioned this, I was given my first referral.
Oh, wow.
And I know it happens so quickly. I always say be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And I was contacted by another real estate broker who was looking to stage an apartment in New York City. And they asked me, like, what would you do? I'm a producer, so I'm constantly like the whole idea of putting together a project, figuring out like what are the items needed. I knew that we needed a budget, that I needed to figure out a budget. So I put something together and I mentioned it. And he was kind of like, are you sure this is what you're going to charge me? And immediately I realized that I had like lowballed myself. I mean, I knew that the quote that I had given him was really low. But I realized also at that moment that this was an opportunity to share with him that I was new. And I always intended to tell him that I was new into this business, that, I was just starting out, that if he gave me an opportunity that I would, that I would give him that prize for more business. And he agreed. He was excited about it. And he did that, exactly that. He kept sending me referrals. He himself will come to me whenever he needed property staged. So for those that don't know, staging is a relatively new industry where folks who are about to put their property on the market, get a professional or certified stager, and that stager comes in, assesses the home, whether it's like the layout of the furniture, decluttering, and basically gives an assessment of what the home needs to position that home in the best possible way so that that home gets sold as soon as possible, the fastest. And so it's an industry that's about, I want to say, anywhere between 15, 17 years old. And it's becoming more popular because the rate on the time that a home spends on the market is less when the home is staged. So the idea is that you go in there and you create a space that can appeal to the majority of the potential buyers. So you want to stay, for example, you want to stay with neutral colors because neutral colors will appeal to the masses versus if you stay really focused on like a particular style. I might not, like the style, or I might love the style, but you might have 10 people that might not like those colors, that might not like that style. So the idea is that we go into spaces, we make them beautiful, we make them more functional. I think a lot of time is also scaling those spaces. Is the furniture too big? Is the furniture too small? So really finding out and really going in there and putting that professional eye and moving things around. If the property is occupied and maybe the way, that particular person has their living room set up that is cutting the living room, you might just need to move the furniture a certain kind of way to open the space up so that the space can look bigger. And that's the thing. When the homes are furnished, they look bigger versus when they are not, when they don't have any furniture. The space actually looks smaller, which is strange, right? Because you think, well, the space is open. There's nothing there. But what furniture does, it allows the eye to see how big the space is. If I know that it's a sofa, a 3-seater sofa versus a love seat, and it fits, I know now that, that space is a certain amount, it's measure a certain amount, right? Like tiene como a certain amount of feet, a certain amount of, space. So you're able to more or less calculate the size of the room.
Oh, so when somebody is going to sell the house and it's you guys fix everything, but also put the furniture and the house itself with everything that you guys did, like all the design?
Anything could be done. It really depends on the buyer. We can go in. If the space doesn't have, let's say the person moved out because they bought another house or another apartment and they took out all their furniture, then we go in there and we furnish the apartment or the property, the home, and we'll bring in everything. We'll set up a living room space, a dining room space. We'll put the accessories. We'll do the artwork, the curtains or the window treatments. If it requires for the property to have some small changes or, bigger changes, like we can change fixtures, we can paint, we can, maybe they want to renovate a little bit before putting it on the market. And yes, to answer your questions, we have had properties that have sold with all the furniture in it. But usually the furniture, if the person who's buying already has their own furniture and they're really not interested, then we go in and we take out the furniture.
Oh.
So normally it's for a certain amount of time, a certain period of time. It's anywhere between 3. The average, it takes a broker an average of 3 to 6 months to sell a property, depending on the person and how good their selling skills are. But that's usually the short-term rental of the of the furniture and the accessories. And of course, they can always renew it. Let's say it is going into the 7th month. They can always renew it by month, on a month-to-month basis. But yeah, if you want to go in there, everything has a price.
Wow. So, but if you have multiple houses, you have to have like like stock of furnitures and accessories and all these like rugs and everything. Must be so um amazing, that activity that you have to set up like multiple houses. How that
Right.
works?
Well, yes, we have our own inventory, but we also work with other vendors. There are vendors who rent furniture. So
Oh,
if, let's say, we have had a very busy season and most of our inventory is out, then we source furniture from other vendors where we can come in, and usually that puts that particular property into like um, a higher bracket, right? Because now we have to rent the furniture. We don't own that particular furniture. So it's tricky. We try to keep enough inventory. But yeah, we collaborate with other vendors to make it happen.
amazing. Thank you, Julia, for sharing that with us.
Yes.
And now, as with the entrepreneurial side and businesswoman that you are, very successful with everything that you are doing. You have your Freedom Studios, and another thing that I see always you're doing, and you are so energetic also. How do you manage that? And what is the biggest challenge that you had when you started all this?
Yeah, it's really challenging to have the two companies. And then I do a lot of community service, because for me that's very important. That's the stuff that fills my soul and gives me purpose in life. All this other stuff is what I love to do. Like, I love creating content, I love creating television shows, I love creating beautiful spaces. But I think at the end of the day, what drives me and gives me purpose is giving back to my community. So that's really important. And it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of organization in maintaining a list. I'm constantly reviewing and checking off things off my list, prioritizing, really figuring out like what is the priority here. And of course, the business, the JCL staging business, I have it with my husband. So he's really, really helpful in that area where, we tag team. And then with Freedom Studios, I have two other partners. So again, it's really coming together with people, with like-minded people who have similar core values, who are hardworking, that are willing to split, the weight, because I think that, and everybody's going to, lift the weight at different points. There might be times where my partners are doing more in the Freedom Studios because I'm really focusing on a project that I have with JCL Staging, and vice versa. And so we try to just be, that type of community where we want to see us succeed. And I've been very, very strategic with the people that I am partners with. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's been a journey, right? Because sometimes you love people, or you have a great connection and you think that they're great friends, and you think that they might be great business partners, and not everybody has the same ethics, not everybody has, the same kind of drive, just a simple drive, waking up in the morning and having that desire to do whatever it takes to make that happen. Of course, within boundaries, right? When I say whatever, I don't mean being irresponsible, but really taking on and saying, you know what, if this needs to be done, don't worry, I got it. I'll handle it. I'll take it from here. And I think that I've been very fortunate. I know I've been very fortunate with the partners that I have, that have allowed me to be able to, balance, because it's tricky. It's really tricky. Sometimes we have these projects with JCL and it's like full focus. And in the meantime, you know, I have deadlines with Freedom Studios, and I have to literally like take this creative hat off and then focus on this because I have to come up with, you know, a format or tweak something within, you know, when I'm developing a show. So, but I think that at the end of the day, Gabriela, it's really finding what you're passionate about, what makes you feel good. And like literally, it's so true when they say, find what you love and you will never work a day in your life. That's how it feels. So I feel very, very fortunate. And I feel very fortunate to have a husband who supports that. I think that you can probably understand that. To have a good partner that can say, you know what, I support what you're doing. It might not be easy right now, but they can really see the vision of the future. I think that's pivotal.
So true. Yes. And I admire also that you are doing this for the girls in Republic Dominican. And you mentioned something very important, that your purpose, like, because everything that you are doing, you have to give back and that makes you happy. That's so nice of you.
Yes, absolutely. So one of my partners have been working with an organization. They started off in Dominican Republic with two orphanages, both a boy orphanages and a girl orphanages. And she had been doing that for about 8, 9 years. And you know, I always admire that about her. Even though I was doing community service here in the States, I admired her because she would go, you know, every holiday, she'll pack up and bring the kids all kinds of gifts and will donate her time. And so during the pandemic, we had a friend who was living in Los Angeles and moved to the Dominican Republic. And she's Dominican, but she's married to a Scottish man, and her children have, you know, have been to Europe. They grew up in the States, and they didn't speak Spanish. And she said, you know, this will be a great idea to reconnect with my roots and take my girls and show them, you know, where I come from, and for them to learn how to speak Spanish. And I said to her, I said, hey, maybe they want to volunteer at this orphanage that, you know, my friend Maylene has been working with for a long time. And that's how it all started. She started, her girls started teaching English and learning Spanish at the same time.
Wow.
And so she's there. Maylene is traveling back, and they said to me, come to, you know, the Dominican Republic. And I was like, oh my God, this is like, the pandemic was happening. I had a crazy time because I lost some family members during the pandemic. And so I felt like this was an opportunity to disconnect.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And I said, you know what? We've been cooped in. It's winter time. I think it's like I needed an escape. And my husband and I went to Dominican Republic, and we went to these two orphanages under the same organization. And it was just so beautiful. These kids are so grateful. They're just so happy to see you. You know, some of them don't have anyone that comes to visit them. And it's just these, you know, children, these innocent children that all they want is somebody to hold their hands, or, you know, to give them a smile, or to spend time, or to give them a hug. And so I was like, oh my God, this is just so amazing to be able to be surrounded by so much love. And so that was like my first trip, and, you know, figuring out like how to fundraise for these children, because it's a constant, you can only imagine things were tough here in the United States, how tough they were in other, you know, countries outside the United States, countries with less resources than us, that to be able to help these kids, these children with, with essentials, food, toiletries. It was very rewarding. And then you go back a second time, and while I'm there, obviously I went, more than one day. We kept going to visit them, and just it's just such joy, and they remember you, and they want to know, all kinds of things about you, and it's just such a beautiful thing. And I always say, children, we have to invest in our children because they are our future, and we just need to give them hope because, sometimes just like these kids who don't have anyone. I mean, they have obviously the orphanage, but they don't have parents that are giving them that type of love on a day-to-day basis. It's really difficult. And as it can change for the good or not good, a human being, right? When they go through something like that. So I try to give my little grain, of ¿cómo se dice? Mi granito,
Granito de arena.
mi granito de arena. Sí, es importante.
Yes, thank you, Julia, because this is a clear example of how a woman can be successful, but also can be happy because by giving, you fulfill that in your heart.
100%. I do believe that at least for me, I can speak for myself, that it feels so much better to give than to receive. There's like this joy that you're helping someone's life. It might be minimal, but for that person, it might be huge. And just a simple kindness goes a long way. So I love giving.
And I will put the link also for all when we have the podcast, and in our YouTube videos, I'm going to put a link. So if someone is listening us or watching us, you can just click the link and donate.
Yes, that would be amazing. Thank you so much, Gabriela.
Yes, Julia. So just for finish this awesome conversation, any tips that you can give to those women that they starting their business and sometimes they feel like give up or they feel overwhelming? What would you say to them?
I would say anyone who's starting their own business, having been in corporate America, having made that transition, sometimes it's difficult because you might not have clients, right? Depending on what you're doing, you might not have customers. All I can say is work on learning everything that you need to learn in your industry. Follow people that are successful in your industry and read about what they've done, right? What are some of the obstacles or some of their successes and triumphs? I would also recommend to get some sort of certification in your industry, or join an organization where you can find support around your type of industry, or maybe it's a women's organization, or or a Latino organization, or an Asian organization, like whatever it is that you identify as. Try to find an organization where you can build with others who have similar goals, who are trying to achieve. And I think that is building and surrounding yourself with a community that can help share resources, right? I might have a skill that can benefit your business, and you might have a skill that can benefit my business. Let's unite forces. And I think it's really finding those people that can support us. The other thing I would say is try to find something that when you are overwhelmed, that helps you distress. I have made this into sort of like a ritual in the morning. I wake up, I drink a glass of water, which is at the beginning was really hard because I used to go straight for the coffee, but I realized that water is amazing. It gives my brain oxygen. Uh, if you are the type of person who loves to exercise or do a yoga class or simply meditate. So one of the things that I do is before I even drink that glass of water, I wake up, I say to myself, I'm grateful to be awake one more day. Today is going to be an amazing, productive day. And if there is a goal that I'm trying to do, I would say today I will close that deal. Or today, that conversation with this person, it's going to give me all the information that I need to take it to the next level. Whatever that goal is for your day, wake up and put it in your head like it's a done deal. Then like I said, I wake up, I drink that glass of water, brush my teeth and have my coffee. And I try to do a little bit more meditation if I have the time. If not, then I'll do the meditation right before I get up from bed. So that's one of the things that I do to distress. And again, support your brothers and sisters. I think that when you put out good in the world, good comes back. And I think that nowadays it is so important. There's so much chaos. There is so much, sadness and challenges that we are all experiencing, that it is so important to try to find the positivity in our world and try to be that person who puts a smile or gives out positivity, because it helps. It really helps. And so that's a general advice. And yeah, that's what I would say. I hope that was helpful.
Oh, very helpful. Thank you so much, Julia. And thank you for joining us today and give us all these amazing advices. And if everyone wants to contact with Julia, I will put all the links for the if you're interested in designing your home. I keep saying myself that you have to design my home one day.
Of course, of course. And I mean, in terms of like the tips to for design, what I would say is, for me, I love fresh flowers. I would say, declutter. Try to do like one day where you get rid of like your papers, like, having two businesses, this constant mail that comes in, a lot of junk mail. I would say try to get rid of that, because the more you get rid of stuff, the cleaner the space, is, and less is more.
Yes.
Right? Less is more. Candles are beautiful. Like candles are great to sometimes I just like light up a candle if I'm going to meditate. Just light up a candle, and scented candles are good for your mood. And so that's small little tips. But yeah, come, look me up. I think that on Instagram also that I give a lot of tips around
I'm your fan.
Yeah. I love plants. Plants are great. Plants are great for so many reasons, but one is they clean our air in our home, which removes any energy, unwanted energy. They're also living things, and I don't have children and I don't have pets, so I love my plants. Yeah, and so that's what I would say.
Oh, thank you, Julia. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for listening to us. If you like the video, please share with someone that may help this information. And don't forget, give us your comments in our podcast as well. And all on the podcast, so you know what is the next episode. Thank you so much. Thank you, Julia. And we will keep in touch.
Yes.